Batman Arkham Legacy, a game that is yet to be confirmed but heavily rumoured among the games industry. And recently, from an insider report, it has just come out that this game is a reboot of the Arkham series and will create its own continuity and move away from Batman Arkham Knight and Arkham City and Asylum and all those games. And I'm here today to tell you why it's actually a really fucking good thing that WB Games Montreal have decided to create their own continuity and not create a game after Night or before Asylum, that is, and rather take on their own new version of the Bat family and Batman whilst keeping the gameplay elements from the Arkham series, because the gameplay elements are quite possibly the best part of those games and have influenced countless games really since Asylum was released way back in 2009. Now, this is coming from a source on Twitter who works for Geeks World Wide Web. His name's James Sigfeild, and over the past week or so, he has just been non-stop talking about this game, and he was the one who first released the article about this game being a reboot, and it's coming in the fall of this year, all the way back at the start of February, about 20 days ago. Now, other people were talking to him about it on Twitter, giving him shit, whatever. And obviously other people had reported on this and they did not do very well, to say the least. And he had to kind of clarify what he said, and he has gone on to further say more in another tweet, saying that not only is this game not set in the Arkhamverse, its own continuity, and the only thing it keeps is the gameplay. That's it. Now, other people asked him if it's going to be Batman Beyond, whatever, and he said no. Bruce is the main focus, but the Bat family has a lot more focus in this game as well, compared to other games in the past. Because as we've seen in other games, Asylum and City and Night, they slowly built up creating the Bat family, because I remember back in Asylum, I think it was originally canon that Robin didn't even exist at that point, because that game was meant to take place a lot earlier in Batman's career, but they kind of retconned that and changed it. So, look, WB Games Montreal probably want to, not be condensed and be stuck where they have to kind of create a story within the Arkhamverse where the characters in the games never talked about it. And that's a pain in the ass to do, and it really restricts the writers. Because we saw that in Arkham Origins, they kind of struggled a little bit with it. And it's frustrating that, events in Origins never get talked about until Night, because that's the only time they can be talked about. And Origins retconned a lot of lore that was created in Arkham Asylum, and, that was frustrating, because in Asylum, a lot of the riddles about other villains kind of, talk about other things that happen in the past, but they're never talked about in any other game. And Origins, was like, oh, here's the first appearance of Firefly, but he goes away and leaves Gotham forever and doesn't come back till Night, kind of thing. So, you see what I mean? Their continuity, they fucked around with a lot of the lore, and they ruined a lot of things in the Arkham series, I'd argue. And, things like Dick Grayson's age, and Tim Drake's age, and Barbara Gordon's age. She does not have AIDS. Barbara Gordon's age was really fucked around with, especially when Night came around. And the Batgirl Matter of Family DLC, which was actually made by WB Games Montreal, they fucked that up because they had to use assets from the game, and Tim Drake was the Robin in that game. That story, that contained story that's set before Arkham Asylum. So they fucked the continuity up so much in those games, because not only is there no Robins before Asylum onwards, it just doesn't make sense. And it's frustrating, because that would mean Batman would be fucking 50 at that stage. And, I get it's a video game, but it is just annoying. So I'm really happy to see them create their own continuity and just not fuck around with the Arkham series anymore. I think that series is done, and I think they need to make their own new series, because DC or WB want to make a whole new universe of games, like what Marvel are doing with Spider-Man and Avengers, which I believe are meant to take place in the same universe. Not confirmed, but it's believed that's going on. So I'm pretty sure DC want to do the same thing, where they want to have WB Games Montreal release their Batman game, and then James Sigfeild further said that Rocksteady will release their game afterwards, and then WB Games Montreal will release another game, and there's another unknown developer who's also making another DC Games title. So WB have a massive lineup for the next, well, 3 years, 4 years or so of games they want released. And they obviously want to build a whole new universe within video games. And I think it's a perfect time to start, especially with the release of new consoles. And that can work out really well if they manage to make these games go across a whole new generation of consoles. And it could create a wonderful universe like we have with the MCU. Not the DCAU, that doesn't really exist anymore. It sucks ass. So I hope DC have better luck within games rather than what they're doing with films. Now, furthermore, I'm excited to see what world they can create. With Scott Snyder being the writer of this game, they are clearly going to go in a whole new direction, because Paul Dini, who was the writer of the animated series and other Batman series that were a little bit more lighthearted, but they had dark tones to them, he wrote Asylum and City, and I believe he wrote Origins, but he didn't write Night. And if a lot of you guys could probably tell that Night had a bit more of a different tone to it. And Scott Snyder, he writes a bit more of a darker Batman comic. He created the Court of Owls, I believe, or he was co-creator of the Court of Owls at the very least. And that would explain a lot, since this game's main villain is heavily rumored to be Court of Owls. But he writes a much more darker and grittier comic. So I can only see this game going in a darker and grittier direction, which I can see in general with Batman already. Because with the Batman 2021 film, that seems to be a lot darker, especially with the leak that came out today with one of the Riddler's victims looking very scarred, very bandaged, very fucked up and dark. It looks like these games probably will go in a bit more of a darker direction. Well, the Batman games will, because from what I've heard as well, they want to make a trilogy. That, again, is unconfirmed. I'm just going off rumors this whole video. I do apologize. But, they want to make a game that they want their players to play for a long time, but they also want to create a whole new series of games again, which I'm all down for, because I think WB Games Montreal can make a good game, so long as they're just not stuck in this world they didn't create. But one thing I do want to see is a younger Batman, because that seems to be a thing DC are trying to push. They went for the old Batman with Ben Affleck and Kevin Conroy's Batman, and I've kind of had enough of that, and I want to see a bit more of a younger Batman like we're getting with Robert Pattinson at the moment. And we could see that in this game, but, a lot of the leaks are suggesting the Bat family is heavily playable and play a key role in the story in the game, so Batman's probably gonna be around his 30s at the very least, if we're getting a Robin and a Red Hood and a Batgirl and other characters within the story. That's what I've heard of the playable characters. Once again, unconfirmed. Take this all with a grain of salt. But we all know that WB Games are working on a DC title. We're pretty sure it's Batman from the leaks and the rumors and what they're posting on their account on Twitter, even though they haven't put anything out for ages. Thanks. That would be great to see something new, WB Games. But anyway, overall, I'm just looking to see a more darker and grittier game that isn't stuck within this universe that the developers didn't create, and they don't fuck up the lore or retcon anymore in that universe, and just leave it alone. It's done. It's a great set of games. No need to play around with them anymore and expand upon them. They're finished, and I think they just need to go on and create their new thing. I have been Seth from Silver Soul Gaming. You can check out all our links in the description below. There's our website, this YouTube channel, of course, because, I make awesome videos, of course. The Twitch, my Twitter, our Twitter, everything is down there. All my links, Silver Soul Gaming's links, everything. Go check out the website. They write awesome shit on that site. And people do it in their own spare time. So, there's always stuff up there being written. And there's always stuff going on at Twitch as well. I haven't streamed on Twitch in a long time, but I may do it soon. Anyway, I'll see you guys hopefully next week for another video. And maybe this week for a stream or something different, because I will try and upload a little bit more frequently on this channel. And we'll just see where it goes from there. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys at the very least next week.